Everybody. So I'm going to be doing a quick tutorial on what you should be using ChatGPT for if you are a writer. Okay? And I'm going to give some tips on how to use ChatGPT safely so you don't plagiarize and you don't get in trouble with copyright infringement or anything like that. So these are three things that I think that every creative writer should use ChatGPT for. Now I'm going to be doing a series talking about this, okay? Now I don't know who researched this stuff here, but it wasn't me. You'll find it when you get on ChatGPT that you'll see what other people have been looking up as well. That may pop up, or it could be something that the software is just trying to feature popular searches. So let's get into it. So one of the main things you should be looking up on ChatGPT is how to write a query letter or a submission letter. So if you are a creative writer and you want to submit to a publisher, you should be using ChatGPT to look up query letters or submission letters. So poetry submission letter. Let's see what it gives us. So it gives us this little template here. See? Now all you're going to do is customize it. Okay? You're going to basically customize the template. You're going to change some things because you're not like stealing any original content. You really won't get in trouble like with plagiarizing. Just long as you make sure you are not using any of the content in which the template is talking about a body of work. So you want to change this part especially where it says these poems are a reflection of my passion, blah 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 blah. You want to change this part to match the poems that you're submitting. So I could say these poems are a reflection of my desire to be treated equal in the community, to feel like I belong, to feel like I am some value to society. So I could change it to say that if my poems are themed on those things. So basically, you want to make sure that you first just fill out all the basic stuff here. Now, of course, you can change a little bit of this. Like, as I admire your publication, dedication to showcasing the finest literary works, you can change that. So you can say, I was very impressed with the quality of the work that you publish, and I feel like my work would fit in with that work in the publications. So you could say something like that. You could just kind of like change it a little bit, change it a little bit up here and here. And you want to make sure that you have the correct publisher's name. Don't make it so general because the publisher will think that you're like submitting this letter to all kind of publishers. So you want to make sure that you put the publisher's name actually in there. So dear poetry editor of the Poetry Rose Review. That's just an example. So you want to put the whole name there. If you're sending by email, then you don't really got to put your address, but I think you should still include your email, phone number, and date. And you don't really need the publisher's address and all. So you can leave that out, but have the editor's name, have the name of the publishing company, have your name up here, your phone number, email, and the date. Make sure, once again, you have the publisher's name included and what they review. So you could say, dear poetry editor of, and then you put the publisher's name. So as you go down here, as you will see. I'm trying to scroll down. I don't know why it's not moving. Oh, there it is. So you can add the title of your poems here as a list. If the publisher wants some publisher pre-publication information that you have to give credit to, then you can include it here. Make sure you try to get your citations, your credit citations, as perfect as possible. Okay. You can this can be left out because the publishers have a lot of work to review, so make sure you don't sound like you're just kissing their butt and just like filling up the space in the letter. So less is more in a submission letter. Only keep what's necessary. Because this is getting into if you need me to make some edits, unless the publisher actually will accept your edits and they have established that already in their submission policy, do not even put this in there. Do not even put if you need any more further edits of my work, or don't put that in there. You want to try to make this as a type of letter that is the first letter you send to a publisher along with your work. So you can say one nice sweet thing like it says here, I will be honored to work alongside, but this person is talking about working with writers. Unless that is a part of the reason why you're submitting, you don't include that. So once you edit your letter and you like put your own stuff about your poems in here and you tweak a little bit of this. Now don't forget, before I finish what I'm saying, don't forget that you want to make sure you have the end right, your name, your signature. And you always want to end it with thank you for taking the time to consider my submission. This is not needed. I feel like that's like extra. All right, you can say this if you need more information. Feel free to contact me. You can keep this here. And then once you're done, you want to make sure that you put it through a AI plagiarism checker. So they have online sites that will check your stuff for free to make sure that it's not plagiarizing, especially if you use the template from AI. Remember to always change it. Okay, change it. Change most of it, especially the part where you're talking about your work, and you want to delete some stuff out because you want to keep the letter tight. And then, as I said, once you have edited it in a notepad, in like a notepad software or your office software, then you're going to put it through a AI plagiarism checker, which I'm going to show you in a minute. Okay. Now, if you don't like what it gave you the first time, you can always generate it again. So let's generate one more time. See what happens. So as you see, when you generated it, it sort of gave you like a bulkier letter, and it changed the announcement of the poems. So see how this part changed. So this is the part in which you're kind of selling your work to the publisher. So this is the part you're definitely going to always have to change. Remember, everything else in the letter should be only in there if it really has to be in there. But the part where you talk a little bit about your work, that should be in there. Especially if you feel like it's what the publisher is looking for, or it's something like what they already published. Okay? Always mention how you enclosed your work. So you can say enclosed is the poems attached or below. You can say something like that. Below is my poetry. Or you can say attached is a Word document of my poetry. So this is just an example. You can use this letter for any type of writing, query letter or submission letter you're sending to a publisher. You just need to just change it. So if it was a story you're sending, you would just say the title of my story, and you would change it to mention your story in the letter. And you would change all the areas in the work to make sure you're talking about your story. So this is one thing you should be setting. This will save you so much time. Now, I know you're saying, but I'm not sure of how to edit this part. Remember, you're just going to have to edit all the nouns and the verbs and all that there to match what your work is themed on, what it's about, and what your work is trying to show or teach or convey. What emotions, what are the themes, so you can put that in there. Edit this out and put that in there. So let's look at the second thing that you can use ChatGPT. I hope I'm saying that right. I keep saying it wrong. Let's see here. So, yeah, ChatGPT. Now, you can use this for coming up with a synopsis, however you say it. So, synopsis for your love story. So you can type in a little bit about your love story if you want. So, synopsis. I can't spell, y'all. For my love story about two people who had to work on a project and fell in love, but something kept them apart. So let's see what it say here. Okay. It's taking a long time. I don't know what happened, but let's try this again. I love that it does correct you. So you can put your love story in there. Usually it goes faster than this. I have no idea what's happening, but we will move on, okay? We could go with love story, description. So it must be having some technical difficulties because I couldn't scroll down. That can happen if there's a lot of traffic. I noticed, like, when you try to surf the site sometime, it can get a little glitchy. So here it gives you a love story here, because I said love story synopsis. So if it gives you like a book synopsis of a love story, and you can't think of a love story, and you want to write a love story, all you're going to do is go through here and edit it. So you want to change the name of the characters, you want to change the problem, the obstacles, you want to change any struggles that the characters have. So I had put in project, okay? So that was just something I put in random. I said two people are working on a project together. So notice they gave me something for it, assigned to work on a project. So because I put that in there as the main part of my story, I can keep that. But because I don't know if some of this stuff is already published or someone already written, I want to make sure that I change some of it. So as they pour their hearts into their project, their connection connects. I love how it's general, because if you expand what the project is, then you're changing the story to be original. Right here, you're doing that. So you can just keep doing that. It says they share late night discussions, blah, 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 blah. An unforeseen obstacle, you can choose the obstacle. So this was just something I thought of to put in here to see what it gives me. But I'm interested in seeing what it will say when I check it with the plagiarism content checker. So let's see what what happens when I do that. Okay, let's see. Let's see here. We're going to put it in here, which is the chat GPT plagiarism checker. We're going to go on analyze. So you might can't see it, but I click the analyzing button. So it says 70% probability, which means this has to be edited. Now what's nice is that you can edit it right in here and reanalyze it. So perhaps they're not working necessarily on a project. Perhaps they're working on something else. Perhaps they are planning a funeral. So perhaps you can just change it. So let's see what happens. Into planning a funeral of a close friend. Okay. So you want to change the names, because that could be also triggering the 70% probability. So let's see what happens when I take that out. Let's say Alex is drawn. Let's change the name. Let's say John is drawn to whatever her name is, to her professionalism. See how I'm changing it? I'm changing it. And minimalist nature in designing and planning events. Okay, so let's see what happens. So I have to write what she admires about him. But let's say I take all this out. Okay, I just want to see what happens when I take all this out. Let's see if it passes the checker better. Then we can kind of know what's happening here. Okay, so it went down. It went down. So it's 64 now. So basically you have to change the title here. Let's go, let's go Twin Roses work to say their goodbye. I'm just putting that in there to see what happens. So this is probably also setting it off. So you want to edit this. See. So I just put heartwarming. So you want to edit this. So you just keep on editing and editing and editing. So let's say I edited. We're just saying, let's say I edited, and then let's see what the checkers say now. They discover an unexpected, let's say, spiritual connection. As they seem so synchronized, seem to synchronize at times. So I'm just adding that in. I'm just trying to see what the checker will say as I add some editing. Okay, it went down to 16%. That's pretty low. So that's in the safe range, okay? See, it says you don't want it to be above 76. So if the probability is less than 50, all right, then it's mostly human. So because it's less than 50, you see how it's 16.767%? That means this is more original and more human. Okay? So and twin roses work together to say goodbye to a lost friend. So that's just a quick title, just to see what happens. Now, as I said, I can reinsert the original Chat GPT one and just keep editing through, editing it until it gets down to under 50 and 60 here. And once it's under 50 and 60, that means it's very human-like, and 9 times out of 10, you're not plagiarizing. Okay? So when you do it this way, it gives you a sample, an example to work with to edit, instead of trying to go with a very bare template of a story. If you have the synopsis, then it's pretty much it gets a little easier to write the actual story. So consider going backwards with this, okay? Consider going backwards, doing it backwards, creating the synopsis first and adding in it. So create a synopsis of your plot, your story plot, using this software. Put it in the AI content detector of plagiarism and edit it while it's in that software. Analyze it, make sure that it's under 50%, and once it is, then you can use it. Okay? So let's see here. Let's go with the next one. The next one is you can actually have it come up with an outline for you or teach you something. So let's say you don't know how to organize a collection of poems, and you have written like 200 poems. So you can ask Chat GPT to show you how to create a collection of poems. So how to create a collection of poems. So let's see what it says here. Let's make sure there. Here we go. Let's see what it came up with. It's still generating. So sometimes, as I said, if it's peak time, it might get a little busy. So here it has it. So it has a instruction. See, it tells you to choose a theme, brainstorm and write, explore various styles. Once you have a poem, a bunch of poems, write an introduction. So this is not getting deep into that. So sometimes you got to put it back in there again. So how to sort, let's say how to arrange a collection of poems. Okay, so if you notice, once I said arrange, it gave me what I wanted. So you have to be very careful of your word use when you're searching. So make sure you're using the right search information. So here we have it. We have, there we go. So identify the themes and threads, create an emotional arc. Okay. So here you have the whole list of instructions on how to arrange a collection of poems. This is if you don't want to go to a book on Amazon and see how someone did it. You can come here and follow the instruction that AI give you. Okay? So you go to your 200 or 300 poems and just follow what they say. Even if it's like only a 100-page book or 50-page poetry book, you can still use this to help you to arrange your collection of poems. I guess they should kind of tell a story and have it should be like a ballet of emotions that kind of keep the reader's attention as each group of emotions and themes blend into each other. So I think that's what it's saying here. All right. So I hope this was a very good tutorial. I'm going to give you another bonus thing to look up on here. Now, as I said, some of this stuff here is not what I was looking up. It's just showed up. So sometimes you'll see what other people looked up and all of that. So if you are writing a book and you just need an outline to start with so that you can edit it, you can use this as well. So you can say, give me an outline for a book of poems. Let's see, table of contents. Give me a table of content for a book of love poems. Let's see what it say here. I'm just curious to see what it's going to generate. Oh, so it gave you a table of contents. So here is a table of contents. Now you don't want to use this one, but what I mean by you just need to edit it. So you can change the title here, but you can go by like their structure. So they say whispers of affection. So they're going with affections here. So let's say you are you want your book to tell, you want all your poems and themes and chapters to come together to talk about a family situation. So you can change this part to be like firstborn. So you can say that. So now you're born into the family. So all these poems could be about when you was a baby. And then this right here could be childhood stuff. So you could put, you know, things my mother told me when I was a baby, stories my mother told me about me when I was a baby. You can turn them into poems. And then this part could be teenage struggles, okay? And then this part could be off on my own, like, okay, I'm getting grown, I'm an adult. And this part could be starting your own family. So that's just like a freestyle example I gave you. And then you just want to put your poem titles here for each category. All right. Now, of course, as I said, you can copy this template first, put it into the detector here, edit it. All right, you can edit it here. So it's a little bit far over, but you already saw it. So you're just going to edit all this, but keep the layout. Keep the layout. If your poems are all about birds, then you just choose a pattern. So you can put mama bird here, maybe daddy bird here, baby bird here, empty nest, and then the nest abandoned by the mama and daddy bird, and then maybe another bird takes over the nest. So that's just an example. Don't use any of my original ideas. Don't use any of my suggestions because they are mine, okay? None of my suggestions shall be used without my express permission. So but you're just going to keep the original layout. See, you're going to keep the original layout. You're just going to change everything. If you notice, this person is focusing on certain emotions on each part. Okay, like, oh, they're falling in love. They're starting to like each other. Then they're like maybe dating. Okay, then they're getting hot for each other. And then somebody falls in love. They're longing for each other, but somebody maybe wants solitude. Maybe the relationship, they're falling too deep in solitude, so they in love, so they need solitude. And then maybe somebody is making promises to marry somebody or something, And then maybe the relationship is falling apart here. They're breaking up. So that's what I'm getting when I interpret this outline, okay? When I translate it. That's what I got real quick, y'all. Okay, if you enjoyed this tutorial, feel free to let me know. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.